The summer sun lingered in the sky, draping our suburban sanctuary in a warm glow, while elongated shadows danced across the neatly trimmed grass. In the garden, with my hands immersed in the warm soil, I sensed a stirring within me, reminiscent of the initial whispers of an autumn breeze. In the tapestry of my life with Joseph, nestled in our warm abode with our faithful dog King, everything seemed idyllic. Yet beneath the surface there lingered a restless desire, a craving for adventure and the untamed. As I knelt there, a figure emerged at the boundary of our land, framed by the golden hues of the setting sun. My heart raced, not from dread, but from an unexpected, profound understanding. What if the world I've always inhabited was on the brink of transformation for eternity? In the summer of 1970, the warmth enveloped our cozy suburban home like a comforting embrace. The aroma of newly mown grass intertwined with the persistent chorus of cicadas, crafting an ambiance that felt both soothing and overwhelming. My name is Kelsey, and I'm in my late 20s, living a life that many would consider picturesque. In my garden, I immerse myself completely, nurturing each plant with a fervor that feels almost consuming. The earth beneath my fingers, the vibrant greens around me, and the rhythmic dance of life and death bring me a profound sense of peace. My husband Joseph is the type of person who bears the burdens of life with a cheerful demeanor. He toils at the local factory, returning home each evening with tales of the day's challenges and victories. His voice, weathered from the day's toil, weaves a tapestry of familiarity and comfort throughout our home. For 5 wonderful years, we've woven together a life that's filled with warmth, stability, and a sense of home. And then we have King, our loyal German shepherd. He's more than a pet. He's a cherished member of our family. From the instant we welcomed him into our lives as a small, squirming bundle of joy, he has remained by my side. His devotion. Steadfast Joseph frequently jokes that King holds a closer bond with me than he does, and there's a kernel of truth in that playful remark. King trails behind me, his tail swaying in a dance that echoes the pulse of my heart. His presence weaves a tapestry of warmth and simplicity that envelops our home. Yet beneath this facade of flawlessness, there lies a deep-seated restlessness within me, a longing for something greater, something beyond the ordinary. I truly appreciate everything in my life, that's for sure. Yet in those quiet moments spent in the garden with my fingers buried in the earth, I often drift into visions of different lives, exploring the endless possibilities that lie beyond my own. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Joseph returned home with a tale to share. Yet, on this occasion, the focus shifted away from the factory and his co-workers. He shared about a man he encountered, a wanderer, whose narratives of far-off places and thrilling escapades ignited a flutter of both envy and exhilaration within me. He spoke of destinations where the sun dips below the horizon, of vast waters, far beyond the confines of suburban lawns. Joseph remarked, his eyes shining with a newfound brilliance I had never witnessed before. And there are mountains, Kelsey, majestic peaks that reach for the heavens. I absorbed every word, my heart racing with anticipation. The idea of boundless horizons and limitless possibilities was utterly captivating. As Joseph continued, I sensed the walls of our home tightening around us, the rhythm of our life transforming into a confining embrace. As the night deepened and Joseph drifted into slumber, I found myself wide awake, gazing at the ceiling above King. Noticing my discomfort, nestled his head beneath my arm, his warm breath providing solace in the shadows. I leaned in closer and asked him, "Do you ever sense that there's something beyond our reach, King? Is there a tale yet to be told?" The following morning, the unease lingered quietly, bubbling just below the surface. As I navigated through the routine of my day, my thoughts wandered far beyond the present, drifting towards far-off landscapes and untold adventures. As I tended to the roses, my mind wandered to visions of departure, adventure, and a life that breaks free from the mundane. As the days stretched into weeks, a sense of unease began to take hold of me. It wasn't merely the tales Joseph shared upon his return. It was a moment of awakening, a spark that illuminated the possibility of a life beyond my familiar boundaries. I started to view our home not merely as a refuge, but as a launch pad, a space from which one could embark on adventures beyond its walls. One afternoon, as Joseph toiled away at his job, I ventured into the attic, sifting through dusty old boxes filled with forgotten treasures. In the midst of ancient artifacts, I stumbled upon a map, its edges frayed and its surface tinged with the passage of time, revealing destinations I had only encountered in the pages of stories. My fingers wandered along the lines, exploring the shapes of mountains, the bends of rivers. In that moment, the notion which had lingered softly erupted into a resounding proclamation. May I take my leave? Is it possible for me to escape this existence? Is this from Joseph? From the familiarity that had once wrapped around me like a warm blanket? The idea sent shivers down the spine while igniting a spark of excitement. As I settled into my seat, the map unfolded in front of me, the ruler resting at my feet. I came to understand that my restlessness was more than a passing feeling. It was an invitation to embark on a journey to embrace life, to uncover the mysteries that awaited beyond the boundaries of our everyday surroundings. And so, with a heart brimming with both trepidation and excitement, I set forth to craft a narrative not merely for a getaway or a fleeting respite, but for an adventure that could reshape my identity, our identity. Because deep down I understood that if I didn't embrace this unforeseen journey, I might always regret not taking the chance. One evening after a particularly long day, Joseph arrives home late, his face marked by the weariness of the day. He hardly grazes his meal, and following a fleeting exchange about his day, he heads off to bed early. In the stillness of the living room, I find myself enveloped by the quietude of the house, a weighty presence that surrounds me, with a keen awareness of my feelings. King gently lays his head on my lap, his eyes reflecting a deep sense of empathy. As I set out with King by my side, the world around us began to unfold like a tale waiting to be told. Each step a new chapter in the journey of the day. The evening air is crisp, and the glow of the streetlights creates an enchanting play of shadows as we stroll along. In a whimsical dance, King chases after fireflies, his spirit alive as he tumbles joyfully in the soft grass. His joy spreads like wildfire, and for a fleeting moment my loneliness fades away. As we make our way back home, I can't help but observe the deepening warmth of King's feelings lately. He's always shown warmth, but lately there's a spark in his actions that leaves me curious. The following day I observe King intently seeking to grasp this newfound fervor. He appears to be on edge, his ears attentive to every noise, his tail wagging with an intensity that feels almost urgent. It feels like he's weaving a narrative, his gaze delving into mine, seeking a connection that transcends words. I recall the tales Joseph shared with me regarding his work and the individuals he encountered. Once there was a captivating story about a man and his remarkable dog who possessed an uncanny ability to detect when its owner was in peril. Is it possible that King is sensing something beyond my perception? That evening, as Joseph arrives home, I choose to bring up the topic. As he sinks into his favorite chair, I begin, "Joseph, have you observed any changes in King recently?" Joseph glances away from his newspaper, his gaze weary, yet focused. In what ways is it distinct? He's taken on a role of heightened vigilance, showing a deeper sense of guardianship. It feels as if he has a tale to share with us. Joseph pauses, a thoughtful expression crossing his face as he contemplates. Indeed, dogs have an incredible ability to perceive their surroundings in ways we might not fully understand. Perhaps he's sensing your unease, your yearning for something beyond the ordinary. I listen intently, reflecting on what he has shared. Yet there's an underlying essence that resonates within me. As the night deepens and Joseph drifts into slumber, I find myself wide awake in bed, my mind swirling with thoughts. King, as if summoned by an unseen force, leaps up beside me, his form melding with mine. His warmth envelops you, offering solace, while his presence whispers for recognition in the quiet moments. The next morning, I make the choice to bring King to the vet, wanting to ensure that all is well with him physically. Dr. Harris, our vet, attentively hears me recount the tales of King's antics. After a careful examination, he determines that in terms of physical condition, King is in impeccable health. Yet creatures, particularly dogs, such as King, possess a remarkable sense of intuition. They perceive shifts around them attuned to their owner's feelings and the very essence of the air. As we step out of the vet's office, a swirl of relief and confusion washes over me. The King's actions aren't a result of sickness, so what could be the reason? In the comfort of my garden, I unfold the map from the attic, laying it out on the table next to me. The regal figure sprawls at my feet, his head gently resting upon my shoes. As I glide my finger along the contours of the map, my thoughts drift to the enchanting destinations that exist only in my imagination. In an instant, King's ears twitch with alertness, and a deep, resonant growl escapes him. I glance about, anticipating a glimpse of something remarkable, yet all I find is the mundane. However, the response from King is clear and undeniable. His concern goes beyond mere protection. It's as if he's trying to convey a deeper message. As the evening unfolds and I begin to cook, King's actions take a dramatic turn. He wanders through the kitchen, his tail held high, his gaze flitting to the windows. I attempt to calm him, yet he stays restless. After dinner, as Joseph and I settle into the living room, King's antics take center stage, captivating our attention. He stands firmly between us and the front door, his body coiled with tension, his eyes locked in a steady stare. "Joseph," I murmur. There's something quite unsettling about King. His actions stem from a place of fear, not just protectiveness. Joseph, noticing the worry reflected in my gaze, nods in agreement. Perhaps we ought to delve deeper into this matter. Perhaps there's a deeper narrative we haven't uncovered. The following day, I begin to pay closer attention to King. I've observed that he responds not only to sounds or movements, but also to particular moments throughout the day. He seems to be on the brink of a tale poised for a moment that is yet to unfold. As the evening unfolds, and the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, King's antics take center stage. With a sudden, piercing bark, he dashes to the back door, clawing at it with an intensity that takes me by surprise. I step outside after him, and in the dimming glow it comes into view. A shadowy figure looms at the boundary of our land, framed by the golden hues of the setting sun. My heart races not from fear, but from a sudden, unexplainable familiarity. King, now quiet, stands next to me, his form tense, his gaze locked on the silhouette. In that moment, I understand that King is perceiving something far beyond mere danger. He's feeling the winds of transformation, a new chapter in our lives that is ready to be revealed. As the figure advances, a shiver runs down my spine, not from the cool night breeze, but from the dawning understanding that whatever King has been hinting at is on the verge of revelation. The following day, Joseph departs early for an unforeseen business trip, leaving me to spend the weekend in the company of King. The house echoes with silence in Joseph's absence, and I find solace in the company of King, sharing moments of conversation and play, drawing warmth from his loyal presence. One afternoon, as I relax in the backyard, I notice a change in King's demeanor. He's more persistent, gently prodding me with his nose, his body language shifting from its usual playful charm. In a fleeting moment of vulnerability, I found comfort in King's quiet companionship, letting his presence soothe the ache within me. What began as a simple moment of connection revealed the depth of my emotional solitude. The moment washes over me with overwhelming clarity. I've ventured into uncharted territory, a realm beyond comprehension. As the weight of guilt and confusion crashes over me, I find myself drawn back to the house, seeking refuge in the bathroom where I can attempt to unravel the tangled threads of what has just occurred. As I rest on the chilly tile floor, my back pressed against the door, a whirlwind of thoughts swirls in my mind, each one more elusive than the last. King's soft whimpers outside the door mirrored the guilt I carried within. How could I have allowed this to unfold? My breath quickens, each inhale a frantic whisper as I strive to find my center. The mirror reveals a stranger staring back at me, eyes filled with disbelief, complexion ghostly white. I splash water on my face, attempting to cleanse myself of the shame that clings to me like a second skin. As I reflect on Joseph, I am reminded of the faith he has in me, the journey we've shared, and the deep bond we've nurtured throughout the years. The idea of him discovering the truth and the pain it would bring twists my insides in knots. I have let not only him down, but also myself and the very essence of our sanctuary. King's behavior, which I once cherished, now lingers like a ghostly echo of my misstep. His unwavering loyalty and boundless love linger in my mind, yet I've woven those memories into a tapestry of shadows and misdeeds. As time drifts by, the sun starts its descent, painting the room with elongated shadows that dance through the tiny bathroom window. At last, I step into the light, my legs trembling, my heart weighed down. As King gazes up at me with his large, soulful brown eyes, a wave of melancholy washes over me. I turn my eyes away, unable to confront the purity reflected in his gaze. Instead, I immerse myself in everyday activities, tidying up, preparing meals, anything to divert my mind from the chaos within. Yet each sound and every movement brings back memories of the past. That night, I found myself in bed, gazing up at the ceiling, the stillness of the house overwhelming. King, noticing my unease, attempts to snuggle up to me, but I softly nudge him aside. His touch feels unbearable, especially now after everything that has transpired. The following morning, I rise with the sensation that I've lived a lifetime in just a single night. The burden of my choices lingers heavily, turning each step into a slow, sticky struggle. As I set out with King by my side, I felt the anticipation of the journey ahead, believing that the crisp air would weave its magic and help untangle the thoughts swirling in my mind. As we stroll, I maintain a tight grip, uncertain of both my own impulses and his actions. The neighborhood feels transformed, the once familiar streets now twisting into a labyrinth of my own remorse. The King's tale lacks its customary vigor and excitement. He feels the shift within me. As we make our way back home, I find myself seated at the kitchen table, my gaze fixed on the map I discovered in the attic. The visions of escapades of a world outside these confines now appear insignificant against the chaos that brews inside. I attempt to concentrate on the map, following the lines with my eyes, yet my thoughts wander back to the backyard, to King, to that pivotal moment when everything shifted. I've come to understand that my restlessness and desire for something greater wasn't solely about discovering new locations, but maybe about fleeing from my own self. The weekend unfolds slowly, each hour elongating into what seems like an eternity. I steer clear of the backyard, the spot where everything changed for me. Instead, I immerse myself in the garden, a sanctuary where I can become absorbed in the rhythm of nurturing, where the flourishing and fading of plants reflect my own inner battles. As Sunday evening rolls around, I find myself completely spent, not merely in body, but also in spirit. I've revisited the moment countless times, each replay revealing a deeper sense of disconnection from who I am. As Joseph's voice comes through the phone announcing his delay, a wave of relief envelops me, granting me precious extra hours to gather my thoughts. As darkness envelops the world, I ready myself for his arrival. I tidy the home with great care, seeking to wipe away any traces of my inner chaos. King observes me, his head cocked in puzzlement. As I settle into my seat, a wave of anticipation washes over me, my hands quivering in eager expectation for the familiar rumble of Joseph's car to break the silence. As he steps through the threshold, his weary yet joyful expression stirs a whirlwind of feelings within me. Guilt, love, fear, each one intertwined in a complex dance. He kisses me and I freeze, the sensation of his lips a vivid reminder of King's. "What adventures did you have on your journey?" I find the words escaping my lips, my voice feeling strange and distant to me. "Good. But I missed you," Joseph replies, his gaze probing mine for a hint of recognition. I nod, avoiding his eyes, my thoughts tangled in the aftermath of my actions. "I missed you as well," I reply, the sentiment echoing emptily. That night, with Joseph sleeping beside me, I found myself wide awake, the burden of my secret pressing heavily on my heart. King, confined to his bed in the corner, observes me with a gaze that seems to hold untold tales. It's clear that I need to discover a means to navigate through this, to transcend it, yet the journey ahead feels shrouded in the darkness I've created myself. The adventure I once envisioned now seems like a way to flee from the reality I need to confront. As the first light of dawn spills into our bedroom, I quietly promise myself something profound. I will face this head-on, not shy away from it. I will embark on a journey of seeking forgiveness from Joseph from within myself, and perhaps as time unfolds from King. But for now, I find myself reflecting on my guilt, understanding that the journey to healing begins with recognizing the hurt time flows on, and Joseph comes back still in the dark. I strive to maintain my composure, yet each encounter with King now carries an unsettling weight. I steer clear of moments spent alone with him, my feelings of guilt weaving a tapestry of avoidance. Joseph observes the shift in my demeanor, but he believes it's simply due to stress or tiredness. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Joseph settled in front of the television, but soon enough King began to stir his whining and scratching at the door, breaking the evening's calm. With a furrowed brow, Joseph inquires about King's troubles, prompting me to face the unfolding narrative I share with him that King could benefit from a bit more activity, or maybe he's not feeling well. Joseph proposes we see the vet, but a wave of dread washes over me at the thought of what we might uncover. The following day, I lead King to the vet, my heart racing with each stride. Dr. Harris, our vet, takes a close look at King, and after a careful examination, he shares, physically, King is fine, but remember, animals have a way of picking up on our feelings. Kelsey, perhaps he's sensing an emotion that's lingering within you. I nod, the reality heavy and unyielding within me. Perhaps I find a way to express my voice, just a soft murmur. As we step out of the vet's office, a swirl of relief and apprehension washes over me. The King's actions aren't a result of sickness, so what could be the reason? Is it the weight of my conscience? Does he perceive the weight of my embarrassment? Back home, I immerse myself in activities, tidying up, preparing meals, anything to divert my mind from the chaos within. Yet, whenever King gazes at me with those deep brown eyes, a wave of sadness washes over me, a haunting reminder of the past. That evening, as Joseph and I gather around the dinner table, King takes his place between us and the entrance, his posture rigid, his eyes fixed with intensity. "Joseph," I murmur, "there's something truly unsettling about King." His actions stem from a place of fear, not just protectiveness. Joseph, noticing the worry reflected in my gaze, nods in agreement. Perhaps we ought to delve deeper into this matter. Perhaps there's a deeper narrative we haven't uncovered. The following day, I begin to pay closer attention to King. He responds not only to sounds or movements, but also to the rhythm of the day, as if each moment holds a tale waiting to be told. He seems to be on the edge of a tale, poised for a moment that is yet to unfold. As the evening unfolds and the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, King's antics take center stage. With a sudden piercing bark, he races to the back door, his paws scratching at it with an intensity that captivates my attention. I step outside after him, and in the dimming glow it comes into view, a shadowy form outlined by the fading light of dusk, poised at the boundary of our land. My heart quickens, not from dread, but from an unexpected, profound understanding. King, now quiet, stands next to me, his form tense, his gaze locked on the silhouette. In that moment, I understand that King isn't merely picking up on danger. He's attuned to a transformation, a pivotal moment in our lives that is on the brink of revealing itself. As the figure advances, a shiver runs down my spine, not from the coolness of the night, but from the dawning understanding that whatever King has been hinting at is on the verge of revelation. The figure draws near, and with the changing light, I realize it's not an unfamiliar presence but someone I know well, evoking echoes of my own restless history. It's the wanderer Joseph had mentioned, the one filled with accounts of far-off places and thrilling escapades. "Hello, Kelsey," he says, his voice rich with the echoes of adventures yet to be shared. "I'm here to find out if you've reached a conclusion." My thoughts drift to the map tucked away in the attic, to the aspirations of adventure, and to that unforgettable moment in the backyard with King. I look at King, his unwavering loyalty now, a quiet request for comprehension, for absolution. "What choice are we talking about?" Joseph inquires, his voice tinged with uncertainty as he emerges next to me. The wanderer gazes at us, his eyes filled with understanding. The choice to embark on an adventure to embrace a life filled with extraordinary experiences I shared with Joseph, the tales of the world that lies beyond these walls, and it seems you've been pondering it as well. Joseph's eyes turn towards me, seeking the truths hidden within. In the depths of my heart, I carry the burden of unspoken truths, the remorse of choices made, and an insatiable desire for a deeper connection. I've been reflecting on it. I admit my voice quivering, yet there's a deeper narrative unfolding now. The wanderer acknowledges a glimmer of comprehension shining in his gaze. At times, the adventure we embark on goes beyond the destinations we explore, revealing the deeper insights we discover within ourselves. King, feeling the atmosphere shift, lets out a gentle sound, his tail moving with a cautious flick. As I lower my hand, it lingers for a moment, then gently glides over his fur, finding solace in the warmth of his being. Joseph pulls me close, his embrace steadying me. Kelsey, no matter what path you choose, we'll navigate it side by side. However, it's important for us to share what has been unfolding. I acknowledge aware that the reality of King's conduct, along with my own choices, needs to be revealed. The adventure I once envisioned now seems like a way to flee from the reality I need to confront. As the first light of dawn spills into our bedroom, I find myself making a quiet promise I will face this head-on, not shy away from it. I will embark on a journey to seek forgiveness from Joseph for my own sake, and perhaps in due course from the king as well. But for now, I find myself reflecting on my guilt, understanding that the journey to healing begins with recognizing the hurt. With a heart brimming with both trepidation and excitement, I set forth to weave my plans, not merely for an adventure that could transform my identity, our identities, but for an exploration within to face the shadows I have created. In our home, the atmosphere had thickened, charged with an unspoken energy, as if a tempest was looming just out of sight, ready to unleash its fury. Joseph had personally brought King to the vet, a rare occurrence for him which deepened the gravity of the moment. In that moment, I found myself a whirlwind of anxiety moving restlessly through the rooms, my thoughts darting from one imagined disaster to another. Upon Joseph's return, his expression was inscrutable, a facade concealing the secrets of the news he bore. He guided me to the couch, his gaze filled with a deep sense of worry. "Kelsey," he started, his voice barely above a whisper, filled with tension. The vet examined King thoroughly and found no physical issues, yet he hinted that King's actions could stem from a need for more attention, or possibly something deeper, lurking beneath the surface. The atmosphere in the room grew dense, as if the very walls were closing in, filled with things left unsaid. Joseph's gaze pierced through the air, seeking the truths hidden within me, truths I wasn't certain I could reveal. "Do you have any tales to share with me, Kelsey?" he inquired, his tone laced with a blend of concern and an undercurrent of doubt. My heart raced within me, each thump echoing with a mix of remorse and trepidation. The hidden truth I had been holding since that day in the backyard, the instant when everything changed, weighed heavily in my chest. I gazed at Joseph, his well-known features now painted with bewilderment and worry. As I inhaled deeply, the thoughts began to take shape, each one a crucial moment leading to a revelation that might dismantle the foundation of what we had created together. Joseph began, my voice soft and hesitant. "I have a tale to share with you. It revolves around the tale of a king intertwined with my own journey." The atmosphere thickened with anticipation as I pressed on. "In your absence, a sense of solitude enveloped me, leaving me with an unsettling restlessness. And King, he was present, ever present. One afternoon I felt overwhelmed by emotions I hadn't expected, unsure how I let them grow so unchecked. There was a moment when I stepped over a boundary with him. Joseph's complexion drained, and his eyes grew wide with disbelief. "Could you clarify that for me, Kelsey?" His voice carried a blend of astonishment and sorrow. I took a deep breath, the revelation leaving a sour note in my mouth. I allowed myself to rely on King emotionally more than I should have. It was a misjudgment born of loneliness, and it's something I deeply regret. I found it difficult to find the right words to share this with you, to confront you about it. The stillness that ensued was overwhelming. Joseph rose to his feet, moving back and forth, his fingers tangled in his hair. "Kelsey, How could you do that? With the one who always watched over us, the most loyal companion we had." His voice trembled, the sense of betrayal clear in each utterance. With a heavy heart, I whispered, "I'm so sorry, Joseph," as tears flowed freely down my cheeks. It wasn't my intention for things to unfold this way. In the depths of my mind, I wandered through a landscape of yearning, seeking something beyond the ordinary, something extraordinary. Yet it turned out to be an error, a grave error. He ceased his restless movements, pivoting to face me, his gaze probing for the reality for the partner he once vowed to cherish. "What about King's actions? This is the reason behind it." I nodded, feeling the heavy burden of my choices resting upon my shoulders. "It seems he might be feeling a bit lost, perhaps even in pain. His behavior has taken a turn, as if he's trying to convey a message to shield us, or perhaps to alert us to something important." Joseph sank into his seat, his hands covering his face as he lost himself in thought. This transforms the entire narrative, Kelsey. I require some moments to reflect and digest this. "I understand," I replied, my voice echoing emptiness. "I deeply apologize. I am committed to taking every step necessary to mend this situation and regain your trust." He gazed upward, his eyes tinged with a hint of crimson. "There's more to it than simply letting go, Kelsey. It's a journey of faith woven through the tapestry of our shared experiences. What steps can we take to progress from here?" The question lingered, creating a vast divide between us. I extended my hand, quivering with uncertainty, yet I held back from making contact. "I'm eager to give it a shot, Joseph. I long to rediscover the connection we once shared, to revisit the moments that defined us. I'll reach out to someone, find guidance, and ensure it doesn't occur again." Joseph nodded slowly, his eyes wandering into the depths of his thoughts. "We should have another conversation with the vet and possibly consult a behaviorist for King, and for us perhaps some guidance. It's time for us to embark on a journey of healing, addressing not only this moment but also the voids that have lingered in our lives." The choice to share my hidden truth was driven not by bravery, but by the pressing need to do so. The truth emerged unvarnished and hurtful, yet it marked the beginning of a journey toward healing and comprehension. As the sun dipped below the horizon, stretching shadows across our dwelling, I sensed that the path before us would be among the most challenging we had ever encountered. Yet it was a tale of our adventure, one we would embark on side by side, or not at all. The atmosphere was thick with the burden of my revelation, filled with a sense of treachery and uncertainty. I observed Joseph's expression, bracing myself for fury, a tempest of wrath. Yet what I witnessed was a deep sorrow enveloping him. His eyes, typically filled with warmth and welcome, now appeared to pierce through me, seeking the woman he believed he recognized. In silence, he rose, each motion measured and intentional. He strolled toward the door, his back turned to me, and I caught the gentle sound of the front door clicking shut behind him. The stillness that enveloped us was overwhelming, a chasm where our shared moments once flourished. As time slipped by, the weeks blended together, and the house became a silent keeper of our memories. Joseph and I navigated our space like shadows, our exchanges courteous yet detached. We embarked on a journey through counseling sessions, weaving together the threads of trust that had been torn apart. The therapist, a compassionate woman with a soothing voice, led us through activities designed to cultivate empathy and healing. King, our once lively German shepherd, appeared to feel the change in our household. His once vibrant spirit, which used to illuminate the home with happiness, now felt muted. He would rest at the foot of the bed, his gaze tracking me with an expression that appeared to seek forgiveness, or maybe a reason for what had transpired. His tail had lost its joyful wag, and the playful spirit within him had given way to a serene vigilance. Our bond, once vibrant with joy and mutual aspirations, had transformed into a fragile interplay of expressions and quiet moments. We embraced the reality, a reality that transformed us forever. Yet in this new reality, there emerged an unusual form of evolution. We shared deeper conversations, delving into our emotions, our anxieties, and our aspirations. One evening, following a deeply engaging session with our therapist, Joseph and I found ourselves in the garden, the very place where I had once discovered comfort in the earth beneath my feet. The evening air was crisp and the stars twinkled overhead as if they were eager to hear our words. "Kelsey." Joseph began, his voice gentle and reflective. "I've been pondering deeply on what transpired between us. I'll be honest, it's been a struggle tougher than anything I've encountered before." I listened intently, feeling the gravity of his words settle deep within me. "Joseph, I realize now that I've caused you pain in ways I never thought possible. I deeply apologize." With a deep breath, he let his eyes wander among the stars, each one a whisper of tales untold. "Through all this pain, I've come to a profound realization. Our life had its moments, yet perhaps it followed a path too familiar. Perhaps we were both in search of a jolt to rouse our spirits." As I gazed at him, I was taken aback by the depth of his understanding. "Do you really believe that's what this was all about? A call to awaken?" In a manner of speaking. "Indeed," he replied, glancing my way. "We've been nestled in this bubble, and perhaps, just perhaps, this was life's gentle nudge to encourage us to gaze beyond its confines. Not only in the physical realm, but also in the emotional and spiritual dimensions." His voice carried a raw honesty, a deep vulnerability that struck my soul like an explosion. In the midst of my own restlessness and yearning for adventure, I overlooked the beauty of what we shared and the potential that still lies ahead for us. I shared my truth. Joseph extended his hand, and it found mine in a moment that felt significant. That possibility is still within our reach. "Kelsey, we can discover a fresh path to cherish one another, to truly grasp one another's hearts. Life's intricacies guide us through uncharted territories, yet perhaps it is within those journeys that we discover our authentic selves." Emotions surged within me, not solely from the wounds of yesterday, but from the promise of what lies ahead. "I desire that, Joseph, I want to embark on a journey not only through the world, but through our shared experiences side by side." He grasped my hand gently, a subtle smile dancing across his lips. "Then let's embark on that journey. Let's embark on a journey to rediscover one another, not as we once were, but as we have the potential to be king." Sensing the weight of our discussion, approached and nestled his head between us. I caressed his fur, sensing the warmth radiating from his body, a testament to the love that lingered within these walls. In the weeks that followed, we embarked on a journey to reconstruct not only our relationship, but also the very fabric of our lives. We envisioned little journeys, not epic quests, but instances to come together to find each other anew. We shared tales of aspirations, not merely of journeys, but of evolution, of transforming into enhanced versions of ourselves. Our home, once a backdrop of everyday life, transformed into a sanctuary of recovery and fresh starts. King as well appeared to feel the shift. His spirit revived, his tail wagging with a hint of hopeful anticipation. Our adventure was not merely a flight from what was behind us, but a shared confrontation with it. We discovered that love encompasses more than just the moments of ease. It's a journey through the tempests, discovering one another in the quiet that follows. One evening, as we gathered to witness the sunset transforming the sky into a canvas of orange and pink, a sense of tranquility enveloped me. With Joseph's hand clasped in mine and King at our feet, I came to understand that although our bond had changed, it remained unshattered. It was transforming, adjusting, blossoming into a new form, something enduring. In that instant, I realized that Kelsey and Joseph had the potential to reconnect and rediscover their bond. Not merely to discover a route, but to carve out a fresh journey, one illuminated by truth, reconciliation, and a collective aspiration for development that would lead us forward. Our adventure lay ahead, and hand in hand we would traverse it moment by moment into the unknown that beckoned us. If you found this tale captivating, be sure to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. This will help us craft more captivating narratives for you.